congratulations to the top three qualifiers for the 2019 Singapore Grand Prix. Starting in third place will be Sebastian Vettel. In second place, Lewis Hamilton. And on the pole for the fifth time this season, Charles Leclerc. Charles, many congratulations. That looked like a sensational lap. Can you just describe that pole position lap to us?
Was quite a crazy lap. The first one, I compromised it. I started the lap too close to Lewis, and that compromised the second sector. So then I had quite a bit of pressure to perform on the last lap. So I gave it all. There were quite a bit of mistakes. I lost the car quite a few times, and I've seen myself in the wall at least twice or three times in the lap. But yeah, it felt amazing. The car was great. Friday was a very difficult day for me, and to come here in qualifying and do the pole position feels absolutely amazing.
How surprised are you by the pace of your car this weekend?
Very surprised, because even though we knew that there was a bit more to come yesterday, we did not expect to challenge neither the Mercedes, neither Red Bull. So it's quite a big surprise for the whole team, but it just proves how good of a job they've done back at the factory. And today it's also thanks to them if we're on pole.
A pleasant surprise. Well done, Charles. Lewis, if I could come to you and maybe start with that subject. How surprised are you by the pace of the Ferrari?
Well, we obviously came into the weekend knowing that we would have a fight with the Red Bulls, and of course, just knowing how the Ferraris have been in other places with high downforce, not been so strong, like Budapest, for example, and all of a sudden they've brought an upgrade here, and it seems to have worked. So we were not expecting to have such a strong performance from them and have that deficit to them, but they did a great job, and I'm grateful that I was able to split them. Only just, but we were definitely lacking pace today. It was definitely a struggle out there to battle with them and be up there. I like how close it was between us all, so hopefully that puts us in good stead for more good fights.
And how was Q3 for you? Quite a big jump between your first and second runs?
The day's not been that great. I mean, the yesterday was a much smoother day for me, and then today was just a little bit of a hard. I feel like performance was potentially lost a little bit today, or just everyone else just improved. But Q3, the first lap run was so. Didn't feel so good. Obviously, we were second away, and it looked quite elite to catch them up. But yeah, then I just managed to pull back half a second in that last on that last run, nice clean run. But still, just 2/10 down in that first sector, which is obviously where it was lost.
Thank you, Lewis. Well done. Sebastian, coming on to you. Lewis says he wasn't pleased with his first run of Q3, but you were fastest of everyone. Just how was that final segment of qualifying for you?
Well, it started off very good, and then the last run, I think, had already in sector one, lost a little bit, and then was playing catch up and trying to take more and more risks throughout the lap, which didn't pay off. And then, the last lap obviously didn't come together. So I think, overall it's a good result though for us. Putting the car, first and third for the team is great. I think it wasn't the track where we expected to be so strong. So happy with that, but obviously not happy with the very end of Q3. I think, the car was good today and pole was up for grasp, but let's see what happens tomorrow.
What about tomorrow? The long run pace of Ferrari versus that of Mercedes and Red Bull?
It was worse yesterday, but I think we were able to extract quite a bit more from the car today. So let's hope tomorrow is more like today.
Thank you, Sebastian. Right, let's open this to the floor. Please remember to give your name and publication. First question, please.
Yeah. Jeez. Last three. Yeah. Shit.
Fred Ferrer, l'équipe. Question to Charles. Can you tell us more about the two hard moments you had on near the wall and how you catch the car in that time? Where was it?
I think whenever you lose the car, you don't really know how you do it, but it just comes instinctive. And yeah, these two times you are speaking about, I think, is exit of turn 3 and exit of turn 11. This one were quite big times, but I was actually quite surprised that I didn't lose so much time by losing it that much. But yeah, everything after that went smooth, and I was just giving it all. So it felt quite intense in the car, but I'm very happy.
Thank you. Next one.
Scott Mitchell from Autosport. To Charles and Seb, the upgrade here, how much of a difference has that made? How different does the car feel to Hungary, for example, high downforce? And Lewis, you talked about that deficit that you had in Sector 1. The Ferraris have been really quick on the straights this year. How ominous is it that they seem to have picked up a bit of downforce as well?
Charles, let's start with you.
On my side, I struggle to compare two tracks. It's quite difficult, but performance-wise, it seems that it's working. I think data-wise, for the engineers, it was working yesterday too. I think from Hungary to now, we've understood also the car better in a way that we know what's the balance we need to achieve to have the best performance. And I think that has also show the results on track. So I think it's a combination of knowing what the balance needs to, where the balance needs to be, and the improvements that we've made on the car.
Sebastian, anything you can add? Hungary to here?
It's first of all different tracks, but I think in Hungary, if you speak about qualifying, maybe it's the one to compare. But for now, tomorrow, we don't know yet. I think we didn't have such a great balance. I think some corners were very good, other corners we lost a lot. And it seems like this weekend we're not losing in those corners that we were losing in Hungary. So I think it's mostly adding performance to the car and in the right place. So we were able to trim the balance so that, we could extract more performance.
Thank you. And Lewis, how ominous is the pace of the red cars?
Well, I mean, I don't know where they picked up their pace. Obviously, for a street circuit like this, obviously earlier on in the year they were not as close, but they've obviously done a great job. I don't really know where we're losing it. I mean, I've seen that first sector is a bit of a loss to us. I think some part of it is straight line, but then they've been able to match us in the middle in the last sector. So I think just overall, clearly a big step for them, and we'll just keep pushing. We've not had an upgrade really for a while, so maybe when that comes, that'll help us a little bit.
Thank you. Next one.
Lawrence Edmondson, ESPN. Another question to the Ferrari drivers. Can you explain where you were losing so much time yesterday and excuse me, how much you changed today to obviously find all that pace? Because it seems like a real night and day shift between yesterday and today.
Sebastian, should we start with you this time?
Well, not that much. Obviously, yesterday we suffered with a lack of front grip, so we tried to, put more front in the car. I think tonight, with the temperatures dropping, etc., it seemed to come alive fast. I think that's the biggest difference in terms of spec and so on. It's exactly the same as yesterday.
Yeah, I was not happy with my driving yesterday. I think there was quite a bit into it. Was not a great day for me. So I improved quite a lot driving today, and as Seb said, also the balance we improved quite a bit from yesterday to today.
Thank you. Any more?
David Coath, Motorlad.com. A question for each of you, please. With the reverse grid proposals, you would be starting 20th, 19th and 18th. Your thoughts, please, on any discussion that people talk about a reverse grid.
Well, Charles, you'd be at the back.
I will not be happy. I'm a lot happier to start first tomorrow, but I don't think it's the solution for Formula One. I think the best should win and start in the best place, and not reversing that order. So I don't think it's the solution.
Lewis, reverse grids.
I don't really know what to say to it. The people that propose that don't really know what they're talking about. So.
What did you say? What did you say? Well, I think it's complete bullshit, to be honest.
That's exactly what I said.
Did you say that?
That's kind of what he said.
Yeah, I think we have. I think we know what's probably, if you want to improve things, I think it's very clear. We need to string the field more together. We need to, have better racing. So it's just a plaster. I don't know which genius came up with this, but it's not the solution. I think it's completely the wrong approach.
He said it better than me.
Thank you. Any more?
Hi, Daniele Sparici, Corriere della Sera. Question for Ferrari driver. When did you start realizing that the pole was possible? This morning, in the FP3, did you see in FP3? Did you see the car improving so much?
Charles.
I felt the car was improving in FP3, but I expected Mercedes and I mean it wasn't a clean run for Mercedes and Red Bull this morning. So yeah, we didn't really know what to think. But I think from then Q1 and then through Q1 I understood that we could have an opportunity for pole.
Well, to be honest, I think Q2 is normally when people start putting serious references in, and we were about there. So I think by then I realized that we might have a save for pole. The car felt very good, so.
Thank you. Another one?
Oliver Davis from Sportskeeda. A question for Charles Leclerc. That's 3 pole positions in a row, a 5th career pole position, all in this season. Just how confident are you? How big is it? Is it growing more and more each week? Because you're only 21, but you're achieving things very young. How do you feel so far?
It feels great. 1, 2. Yeah, it feels great, but yeah. You enjoy for a very short time qualifying because then you need to focus on the race, and at the end there are no points awarded for the pole position, which is a shame. So it's great. It's very good to see that we are on pole on a track like this where we really expected to struggle. But yeah, on the other hand, me personally, I'm just focusing on the race now, and I will of course be very happy if I'm in the same position tomorrow.
Thank you. Next one.
Joe van Buurik, Race News 365. Question to Charles. How does it feel after 2 victories, now the pole, having a good position for tomorrow to be the young driver everyone is looking at after Max had a success earlier this season? Well,
it feels good. It means I'm doing well, so that's good. But I think a pole position always feels like very, very good. Just because we are all on the limit, we are all trying to put everything in this one lap, and once you manage to put everything you wanted in that lap, and that you finally get pole position, it always feels amazing.
Thank you. Another one.
Andreas Haupt, Automotor and Sport. Question to Sebastian. Do you feel that with a perfect lap you could have matched Charles' lap time or even be ahead of him? And what was the problem in the second lap in the first sector?
Well, I didn't do it, so obviously it's all if and so on. So I think the lap time was possible. So I thought the first run was a good reference. But I thought that especially in Sector 3 I had quite a bit of lap time in hand and parts in Sector 2. And in the last attempt I lost the car a little bit through Turn 3 in Sector 1, and then again in Turn 9. From that point onwards I was a little bit down compared to the previous lap and was sort of trying to catch up, and probably did push a little bit too hard, so simple as that, and then had a bigger mistake in 18. So from that point onwards, there was quite a lot of lap time lost. But as I said before, the car was good. I felt good. So obviously a shame that I didn't put together the last attempt in Q3, but I think it was there today.
Thank you. Any more?
Sorry, just one more for me. Just a question for all 3 drivers. Out of all the races on the F1 calendar, would you say this is probably the most brutal test out of them all because of the conditions out there on the track?
Sebastian, should we start with you?
Yeah, but I think it is most brutal in which regards physically. Well, I think physically it's tough because obviously it's very hot and there's hardly any place to rest. In terms of bumps, it's been worse. 10 years ago was a lot worse. They made it a lot better throughout the years. But I think in the race, obviously, it will be a different story because we have to most likely manage tires. So it would be a lot more fun if we had, the possibility to push nearly as hard as in qualifying throughout the whole race. That would be the ultimate test. So tomorrow will be, in that regard, quite a bit easier, but still it's a long race.
Thank you. Charles?
Yeah, as Seb said, physically it's demanding, but I also think mentally it's quite demanding because obviously being a track circuit, you cannot lose any concentration, and the first mistake you do, you pay it. So yeah, I really like driving here.
And Lewis?
I feel the same as these guys. Generally, they answered it exactly the same. I'd answer it.
Okay. Well done today, gentlemen. Good luck tomorrow.